Hey guys, this is Ingalandia. I work in partnerships and integrations with Sovryn. I'm going to kick off our community call, episode 31, with some dope ass bars. So here we go. Listen up, keep your mic on mute, and just enjoy the intro. Bitcoin DeFi keeps building and sparking. Diamond hands embrace another dip in the market. Bulls on a lull, but we still gonna harvest. Sovereign jurisdiction's gonna take it the farthest. One day I'll find myself sitting on my throne in a home that I purchased with a zero interest loan. Sovereign core team is gonna pave the way. Product that will change the game. Stakers gonna sit back and embrace the gains. Get ready for the Origins Launchpad. Want to build a Bitcoin project? Go here and start that. Write a proposal and submit it to the OG DAO with the project scope, tokenomics. I'll even show you how. Financial sovereignty is what Bitcoin is for. We're making a comic book to put it all in story form. Hodling your keys. That means the choice is yours. Sovereign community call. Enjoy the open discourse. All right, that was the intro, everyone. Welcome welcome all. Thanks for joining us here. Thanks for sharing in this mission. So the guidelines are, if you'd like to speak, wait patiently, or click the mute button on and off, and hopefully we'll notice and call on you. So before we go through the agenda, would anyone here for the first time like to say hello and introduce yourself?
Just before the hellos, for all of our listeners on the other networks, Twitter Spaces, Telegram, YouTube, hey everybody, if you wish to speak, you need to jump to our Discord channel. The link is on our Twitter, so just go there, join us, and as Ingelandia said, wait patiently and just unmute yourself. Peace.
Cool. Thank you very much. Anyone here would like to say hello and introduce yourself?
Hi, good morning, Gabriel from Mexico. Glad to hear you and love Sovereign. How are you? How are you, everybody?
Doing great. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Órale, güey.
Awesome. All right, let's kick this off with Yago on governance. Are you here, Yago?
Hey, Sovryns, I am definitely here. We are coming towards the end of Sovryn's first year, and I think this is an appropriate time. If you can, please, whoever sees it, can you please mute yourself? All right, so we're coming to the end of Sovryn's first year. And what a year it has been. I think it's an appropriate moment for us to look a little bit back and look a little bit forward. At the beginning of the year, we published the Black Paper roadmap. It was an extremely ambitious roadmap. And what is remarkable is that almost everything that we expected to be building, and I think we expected it to take a while, everything that we expected to be building in the roadmap, sort of as phase one, has been built out. Over the course of the last year, Sovryn and Sovryn team has built out trading tools, lending tools, margin trading tools, limit orders, direct hardware wallet integration so that you don't need Web3 wallets, data services, perpetual swaps, bridges, node system balancing, fast BTC, and so many other things that it's a list too long to mention. It's basically the entire stack of all of the core primitives for a Bitcoin DeFi protocol, plus the integration points that are required to make it happen, plus the constantly improving interface and UI, plus a very extensive UI, plus a extremely dedicated team of community contributors who are always available to answer questions. It's a remarkable feat, especially when one considers that I don't know if I can think of another project and certainly not another team so young, building on such difficult technology that people thought it was impossible, right? Building on Bitcoin. But even putting that aside, that has built out this much in such a short space of time. So I think we have to hand it to the Sovryn team, and not only that, but the Sovryn team itself got built out. Right, the team has grown very, very fast. This is an extremely difficult thing to do in the best of circumstances. Rapid growth is one of those things that can destroy a team. Rapid growth in an environment where it's very, very difficult to attract talented people in a competitive market like what we are in now is even more impressive. And I think it speaks to the fact that the team is extremely talented and people want to work with other talented people. I think it speaks to the fact that the team have created an environment which is fun to work in. And most of all, it speaks to the fact that what we're building is something that a lot of people find inspiring. And to top of all of that, this tiny little project has not only built out all of these different services and tools and created a new potential ecosystem, but it has started to see an ecosystem grow around it. Babelfish, Zero, Mint, additional projects like Dropper, wallet integrations, and a whole bunch of other things. And so we are now, I think, coming to the end of our current phase. We're coming to the end of alpha. We're going to be coming out of alpha and into the future. And I'll talk about that in a moment, because I think it's a very, very big deal. But I want to put it in the correct context. I think with all of the things that we have done, and with all of the things that the community has helped us do, with your feedback, with your assistance, with your beta tasting, one thing that we have sacrificed is we've been doing all of this as a mad dash. And I think it has become a bit self-defeating. We have been looking to push out something practically every single sprint. We've been telling people, we're going to be bringing this and this and this, and eventually we bring it, but almost always at some kind of delay, because that's just the way software works. But because we are pushing things out so quickly, because we don't take the time to, properly build up the hype, properly build up the FOMO, properly do the explanations, create all the video explainers, right? And then push something out. Because we have such a packed a calendar of things that we want to do. Because we're not spacing things out, we're not able to, give the amazing things that we're pushing out the respect they deserve. And as a result, we're not giving the devs who are building them the respect that they deserve. But maybe most importantly, we as a community are not taking the time for ritual and celebration, because we have so much to celebrate. And we should, get excited. We should have the time to get excited about the next big thing that Sovryn's going to be bringing. And we should take the time to celebrate it when Sovryn brings something. We should be having more moments of victory. And so what I'd like to ask now, everyone who's on this call, is to give a round of applause to the team, the core team, the ecosystem teams, and to yourselves who have done so much over the course of the last year, because I think we deserve to take one moment and celebrate.
That was lackluster.
I think we can do better than that. There's like 100 of us here. I know we get interruptions all the time on these calls. This is an actual moment that Awesome, that's better. Iago, would you like to continue?
Yeah. So I think Discord also have changed the way the sound works with the mute button. Usually that would be the way that we would applaud, but I think it's been taken away. All right. So, what I think we need to be looking to do now is, I think most of the tools are in place. Pretty much everything is in place for us to move from alpha into the next version, which is going to be the full production version, a version which works much more seamlessly, where we are building an ecosystem and where we're going to start inviting more and more people to participate. The next phase is going to be the growth phase for Sovryn. And we should take some time to build out take the time to tell the story of this is about to happen, so that we know it's about to happen, so that people understand what is about to happen, so that the world knows it's about to happen. And because I think there's going to be some awesome announcements that we're going to be able to make in the near future. And because the core team, I think, definitely, deserve it. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be introducing a code freeze on December 13th for the Christmas holidays or the holidays in the New Year, so that the team can be with family and friends. And we are going to be planning to put together the out of alpha release with the right level of communication and explanations of how it's happening in Q1. And the impact that this has, right, is that I think it means that we should be taking a little bit of time, and that means that we're not going to be launching Zero and Origins in December. That would be rushed, and I think would be foolish. We will do it with the proper timing at the beginning of next year. With regards to Mint, I know that there's been some frustration around the fact that it's not tradable, so we're going to be looking to make it tradable before the year is out. But I think it's also important that, we contextualize this properly. Even the bonding curves, the SOV bonding curves, right, are complicated technology that we've been introduced. I didn't even mention them, although it's a whole piece of work, right, which has been built securely, which has been audited, right? The level of security that with which we've done all of these things is insane. So I think we need to accept the fact that every single project, Apple and Tesla and whoever, whenever you launch things, sometimes there are delays, and we need to accept that is sometimes the reality of the situation. So Aurora will tell us a little bit more about the code freeze and what's coming next. But I am extremely optimistic about what is coming for next year. We will also be putting out a new black paper or a new white paper with a new roadmap, since so much of the roadmap has been completed that it's time to update it. And we can be looking forward to all of those things in the new year. And on a personal note, I'd like to say that this has been one of the most phenomenal years of my life. And being part of this community has been extremely enriching. And thank you all for being part of Sovryn and helping to make something which for me is very, very important, obvious to me, helping me to understand that it's important to you guys as well, and not just to me. It makes me feel like I'm part of something. So thank you. Aurora, Ingemar, handing it back to you.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Iago. That very exciting stuff. Aurora, are you there?
Yeah. Thanks, Iago. It was a very good speech. And like Iago said, we're going to introduce a code freeze on 13th of December. So the amount of things we are able to push out before that is naturally limited. What we are looking to still get done this year is the SIP31 AMM fee split, which is long awaited, and it is currently still in QA. So if the QA process is successful and we're getting green light, we are looking to create the SIP tomorrow, so we can still have the fee split implemented at the beginning of next year and beginning of next week, before the mainnet code is frozen. What needs to be definitely done in January instead is the Rubicon update, which contains a protocol update to keep dust positions from accumulating on the system, and the loan token refactoring, which allows us to introduce further improvements to the way the lending pools are working. What's also pushed to January is the bidirectional fast BTC update. There we finished the bridge integration I was telling you about on the last call, and are currently just preparing the deployment scripts, but decided to not deploy it now, still before the holidays, just given that the availability in the team will be decreased. So it seemed to be a wise decision to wait with that also until January. Same is true for the limit orders for the spot trades. Things which are also coming early next year are limit orders for margin trades and the perp swaps. So on the perp swaps, if you remember, we had some issues with the audit because an old version of the code was audited and it needs now to be performed again. And this started today, and we are supposed to get the results by the end of this year, and are then looking forward to launching, of course. And what we are planning to do before the mainnet launch is a testnet competition, just so that we can learn about actual trading behavior and can observe the complete system with a big amount of testers before we're launching on mainnet. And so that you can also familiarize yourself with the product and how it will work, and can gather some experience before actually using it with real funds. And I guess that there will also be a nice prize money to be won. And well, I think these are the most important.
Aurora?
I'm still here. Can you not hear me?
We lost you there for a moment.
Oh, sorry. Where exactly did you lose me?
Now, so the most important thing.
Okay. Oh no. Well, yeah, I think I'm pretty much done here then. So these are the most important things which are going to happen now in the very near future, and there's for now nothing to add from my side.
Excellent. Do we have any questions for Aurora or Idanyago this far? If not, we're going to move on to Zoo on creative and design.
Hey guys. So yeah, we've been working hard on getting the perp swaps together. Everything's looking good. It was up on put up on testnet today. Had a look at it. It's looking really nice. The guys have worked really hard on that. And so now we're working on getting the competition put together so that you guys can start playing about with that and perhaps win the competition. Other than that, we've been working on the trading updates. Unfortunately, because of the code freeze, we won't be able to put them out before next year. It's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. But when they come through, I think I was actually vaguely chatting quickly with a user in the user feedback channel today, because they were asking about some of the issues they're having with margin trading. I shared the screen, the UI that we're expecting to have out in January, and it seems that we're fulfilling all the requirements you guys have brought to us, and so hopefully when that interface comes out, you're going to be very happy that you have all the information that you've been asking for. Other than that, we've been working on we've been looking at stop loss and take profit advanced order types. So that could possibly be a thing that comes out in January as well. And we've been working on the design guides for the sub protocols, so that like Mint, Zero, and Origins, the way that they look and are presented, have a consistency and follow the narrative that they are reflections of the SOV token, and that they are completely involved with SOV. We're still working on the FAQ interface, which I believe will make the DApp a lot more user-friendly in the future. It would also mean that you won't have to keep on moving about different things, like go to YouTube to check out tutorial. It will be there for you on the page that you're on. And other than that, we've been carrying on with the script. It's looking really nice. We're on the version 2 of it at the moment. We're just looking at how we're going to introduce the story. We're playing about with ideas of how we actually, how the first episode starts, what point, what we show to you. But yeah, no, I'm very excited about the comics that are coming. I think that's everything from myself.
Any questions for Zoo? Got a quiet crowd today. So, all right, I'll be giving a few business development updates. Not much that I can currently talk about right now because they're early in progress, but the BRZ XUSD pool should deploy sometime early next year due to the technical changes that we'd have to make to this particular AMM pool, because it's not using RBTC, it's using XUSD in the pair. I've been managing the Lightning Bridge project, and we've accomplished milestones 3, 4, and 5. We now have like a working product that allows you to exchange SOV for Lightning Bitcoin and vice versa, Lightning Bitcoin for RBTC. Very low liquidity, but it is working and it's amazing. And milestones 4 and 5 had to do with the Dockerization of the front end and the back end. And we have a page now that serves as a Lightning Bridge marketplace, where you can see different instances of the Lightning Bridge with their own fees and liquidity amounts and the pairings. It's very beautiful stuff. So that's all that I can speak about at this moment. Do we have any other questions?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just regarding about the off ramp of the Bitcoin. Didn't know if you said anything about that. I'm not too sure if I missed it or not. But is there going to be something implemented very soon about that, where I could just off-road right to Bitcoin? So like to another Bitcoin address out of Sovryn?
Aurora, do you want to answer this one?
So the off-ramp is already finished. So the development is done. We received the audit reports. We reacted on them. We're finishing the deployment scripts. And we are just not deploying yet because of the upcoming holiday season and because we know that we might be short on stuff. So we don't want to take any risk and therefore decided to only deploy it in the new year.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. Thank you.
Cool. We've got some extra time. We can take this time to answer any questions that the community might have, big or small, product, branding, suggestions.
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's your name?
My name is Dan. Just
Nice to meet you.
a couple things. Yeah, good to meet you too. I think this team is doing an amazing job. I've been kind of following you guys for a while. Had the Sov DC stake pool for a while and happily doing that. And I just switched some over to Mint. And I think that your guys' idea of slowing down and obviously appreciate people taking a little break is great. And I think just any showing of good faith around the Mint piece would be really helpful. I'm not going anywhere. I would probably just want to put my stuff back into Sov. But I think even if it's just like you guys offering a buyback for people who want it or something like that, I think that would be great just to feel like we, are supporting you and you're supporting us back on that. So I do not know the technical pieces of that and what that would require. I'm sure it's complicated, but something around that would be really helpful. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. And I do hope everybody has a good holiday and a good break after the 13th.
Thanks for the suggestion, Dan.
Dan, I'll just add that it's definitely something we're looking to do. We've examined a number of options. We're trying to do something which isn't going to be too technically demanding because we don't want to take it. We don't want it to distract from the other work that we're doing. One of the things that we think we could definitely do is provide trading on the AMM. So create an AMM pool. And if there's something more that we can, we have a conversation actually later today about it. If there's something more that we can do, then we would like to, because we want to make sure that people feel like, we are paying attention.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I think that trading would be totally sufficient. Looking forward to all the other options with Mint down the road, but I think as a start, that'd be great. So appreciate it. And again, I think you all are doing an incredible job, both of the development and communication here. So thank you.
May I ask, Dan, how you found out about Sovryn and how you found out about Mint?
It's either a Medium article. I know that Anthony Pompliano talked about Sovryn at some point. Maybe it was an interview with one of y'all. But that might have been my entry point. And then just started following you on Twitter and keeping track of what was happening, and excited about people building on and next to Bitcoin. So I've just been following your work since then. And obviously you're very active and communicative community. So I appreciate that as well. I just feel like I know what's happening, and that's really helpful.
Cool, awesome. Do we have any other suggestions from the audience today? Or questions?
I have a curious question if no one's going to sing. So for me personally, I got hacked, so I lost a lot of assets. And one of the issues that I came across, obviously the code would be very difficult, is switch over to a ledger treasure from MetaMask. I don't know how it would work, but I know a lot of people have been asking that as well, where you could take your SVC coins and move it over to another, like a cold storage. And I don't know if that's possible, because obviously the smart contract makes it so it's almost impossible. But I just want to know if that was potential thought.
Yeah, I've been working on interface to allow for that. Unfortunately, it hasn't been implemented just as yet because it was on. Well, it's instead of a little hack that we were just going to add on, we're actually looking at solving the issue of in and out a lot more. So this is something that's like, you know, priority for Q1 of next year. Is unfortunately the best that we can do at this present moment, I think, unless there's any technical thing that Aurora knows of.
So it's Sue, given the way that the staking contract is built right now, you can't transfer stake from one address to another without taking the early unstaking penalty.
Yeah, so I think Bitcoin King, with regards to your question, there is a way to do it. What it requires, however, is not a transaction, but a transfer of the private key. So I think what a lot of people don't seem to be aware of is you actually don't need to use MetaMask if you have a hardware wallet. And the preferred way to use Sovryn is with a hardware wallet. It's the most secure way, and I think also in many ways the most convenient way. All you need to do is connect your hardware wallet, and you don't need any intermediary software. The front end team have developed the front end such that it can directly read from, interact with, and allow you to sign directly from your hardware wallets. Now, if you already are using a Web3 wallet, like for example MetaMask, and you would like to transfer directly using a hardware wallet because it's more convenient and more secure, what you need to do is export your private key or input your seed into the hardware wallet, and that will allow you to do this. Now, just one thing I would caution you, if you already have a private key or a seed on that hardware wallet, this will potentially, depending on the hardware wallet and how it's configured, overwrite your existing private key. So be very careful, you know, if that's the case. Preferable to use a fresh hardware wallet, but if not, for example, Ledger will allow you to have more than one private key, but you'll need to know how to configure that.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I moved to Costa Rica, and to get anything delivered here takes forever. So I'm still waiting for my treasure to get here. So right now I'm still using MetaMask on a new web browser. I had to take the 30% penalty because I was risking that they was going to lose all of it. So I had to move everything over. So that kind of sucked. But it's good to know that you guys are thinking about moving things over to a hardware wallet. That makes sense. Because I personally don't want to use MetaMask anymore. I strictly just want to use a hardware wallet, but I'm just waiting for it to get in the mail.
All right. Yeah, I'd encourage everyone to get a hardware wallet. It's the best way to secure your keys, and it's the most frictionless way, I think, to use Sovryn.
Yeah, well, how they got it, I know, like, I don't give my keys to anybody, but you can sign into certain, like, the wrong network or something, and then they are able to just inject some bot and take all your coins out, like, instantly. So even if you don't give out your seed to anybody, they could still have other ways of accessing it. I don't know how it works with hardware wallet, but I know for sure that it happened to me. So yeah, it's not really pleasant to have.
I mean, when you put it like that, in theory, then it could still happen with a hardware wallet, because I'm imagining that you allowed something on a protocol, and then by allowing it, you gave them access to more than you thought that you were giving them access to. So if I'm not mistaken, if you did the same thing and made that same allow with a hardware wallet, I think the same thing would happen.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. Probably wouldn't. So I'm just gonna stick to directly with Sovryn and not go on any other websites.
Good plan.
Yeah.
One thing that I would suggest, just that this is a useful conversation, one thing that I do, if I'm using larger amounts, I have a very cheap machine, which I use only for interacting with my Bitcoin wallets and with Sovryn. So my hardware wallet connects to that only, and I don't download email, I don't navigate to other websites. we have to recognize that, what we're dealing with are bearer assets. And if you're dealing with, $10,000 or more, the cost of a couple of $100 to have a clean machine, which you use to work with, is worth the peace of mind and also worth the savings that it will provide. So I'd recommend, the Web 2 is not designed in a secure way. If you guys heard about the Badger DAO hack, even Celsius, which is supposed to be a very professional organization, lost $50 million because of a Web 2 MetaMask hack. And so it's important that you try and minimize your interaction with sort of random sites with the machine that you're going to be using, and having a hardware wallet gives you an air gap, which is very powerful.
I should add that the issue with Badger was actually related to the issue that Sue brought up, which is about token approvals and allowances. So basically, the front end interface of Badger DAO. I don't know if this has actually been confirmed, but this is the suspicion, is that the front end was compromised, and so it was directing users to approve their tokens to a malicious address, which meant that malicious address could unilaterally withdraw the tokens from the user's wallet. And so hardware wallets would be vulnerable to this because it's a smart contract level event. It doesn't have to do with compromising the private keys directly. And so to guard against this kind of event, what you want to do is, whenever you're signing a transaction, whether it's with a software wallet or a hardware wallet, you want to make sure that the transaction is, providing an approval or sending tokens to the address that you're expecting to be interacting with. And in the Sovryn wiki, there is a spreadsheet that has a list of all of the mainnet Sovryn smart contract addresses. And so if you're interacting with the AMM, you can go to the AMM section of that spreadsheet, and you can match up the address that's showing up in your hardware wallet with the address that's in that spreadsheet. And if there's a match, then it's good. And if there's not a match, then you should investigate further and potentially hold off on that transaction until you get a confirmation that it's an actual Sovryn address.
Sorry. What I can say about the Badger attack, it definitely was a front end attack. Someone was sneaking in, basically like asking you if you can approve a malicious, address from withdrawing your funds. And I was wondering if deploying like an IPFS instant of the website, would that make it more secure from front end attacks? Just like a question out there.
It depends on how the user is getting the IPFS hash. So this becomes, like if it's a hard coded hash and we post it in a few different places so the user can check, okay, the hash on the Twitter account matches the hash on the wiki, which matches the hash on GitHub, then they can be pretty certain that they got the right hash and that they can download the correct version of the front end interface. That would probably be the strongest way to do that kind of implementation. Otherwise, you end up with
every new deploy of the dApp would require a new hash. So every time the dApp is updated, every build would need to have a hash that was then posted across all of those channels. Right, John?
Right. That's how DXDAO does it. So like with every product that they have, they put it on an ENS link and they make a proposal to the DAO to deploy the content hash to the .eth, the ENS address. So that people do it that way.
So with RSK's new name resolution deploy that happened last week, it could also be done with RSK in the same way that it's done with .eth, actually.
Yeah, so RNS is one way to do it. You still end up potentially, again, it depends on how the user is actually downloading this interface from IPFS. if you're using something similar to the eth.link service, which is basically a DNS-based, redirect from, Web 2 DNS to IPFS, you have that single point of failure. But if the user is getting the hash directly from, multiple verified sources and downloading it using their own IPFS node, that's pretty solid.
Chime in here for a second, if you don't mind. Late's answer before, where he out that it would be safest for everyone before giving any token allowance to check if the address he's giving the allowance to is actually belonging to Sovryn. I think it would be nice if we would have like a very simple check tool where you input an address and it tells you if it belongs to Sovryn or not. This would kind of make then the list Excel sheet of contract addresses redundant. It would be rather simple and easy.
Would that be something implemented on the wallet, or where would that be implemented? Or
I mean, we could have it like somewhere on the front end where it just check your address or something.
Well, if the front end is compromised, then that doesn't really solve the problem,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. I mean, we could have it on a standalone front end, I guess.
We could also consider creating a .sovryn sort of SNS, right? So Sovryn designated human readable addresses, which would only be used for mainnet addresses. We wouldn't distribute them. We would only use them for the DApp's official addresses.
So I'll quickly just chime in here. Some of these technical solutions are a bit beyond me, but I did make a forum post that kind of talks about just personal security measures that everybody can take to kind of reduce the risk of this happening to you. And then separately, I reached out to some dev teams on Ethereum that have built solutions already to kind of check if your wallet is susceptible. And I think it's a little bit difficult to easily transition it over to RSK, but there's one team in particular that I've been talking to that thinks they may be able to do it. So if you're concerned about this, check out the forum post and then maybe stay posted over the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to see if these people can kind of transfer what they've done on Ethereum over to RSK. And that will allow us to, check any individual wallet and see if you've granted this kind of unchecked access on your wallet where maybe it is susceptible to some sort of drain. So long story short, I'm somewhat working on this, and hopefully we'll have a solution to it soon.
Awesome.
Nice one, man.
There's one more thing I wanted to say in this regard, and that's with the question of people migrating. Currently, the staking contract, as Light says, does not allow the transfer of ownership of a stake, but it's something which, if the interest of the community is big enough, we could consider adding.
Like I was saying, it was something I was looking into because, I think that a lot of people came and staked with MetaMask, but have, matured and want to move over maybe to hardware.
So I can definitely understand the motivation, but I wonder if that would defeat the purpose of staking, if you can just sell your stake.
Yeah, that's the thing, that it makes the stake transferable. I mean, yeah.
It would make the stake transferable, but it would still be staked, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. But it also means that you could stake your tokens and still sell them.
Yeah, I think it defeats the purpose of the current tokenomics. We would need to
Well, if you allow a one-time transfer, if you did that, okay, it could be abused a bit, but it's not like it can be completely abused.
The thing is, if it's one time, you transfer it to one address and then for that new address, it's again the first time.
Why don't you track the stake rather than the wallet?
Yeah, currently we do not have tracking of stakes, so this could be a major update.
But
still, I mean, we could at least have we could have an event around it and allow it only for a limited period of time to give people the option to update their wallets. But, well, just an idea.
And like an
That's an
amnesty
idea.
period, that could be quite nice.
That's an idea.
Awesome. Do we have any other topics that you guys would like to bring up? We've got about 15 more minutes left.
Hello, Bolbit here. We've got a question from a user on Twitter, VelezBTC. I hope I pronounced that correctly. They've said, do you know if there's a roadmap for institutional custodians to support SOV? BitGo support RBTC and RIF, but nothing deeper than that.
So Fireblocks recently integrated RSK. Yeah, I've been talking to them about potentially working closely with Sovryn. Can't really speak further than that.
Good to know. Thank you.
There are also several other projects that have approached us on the custodial side.
Great. Velez, hopefully that answered your question. If you have any follow-ups, feel free to ping them in Discord. Thanks, guys.
How are you pulling these questions?
They posted it in our Discord general channel.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Cool. Any other questions from the audience?
Well, that just goes back to the off ramp of the Bitcoin. I'm sorry, just a broken record. It's just because I had to buy something and I had to move my Bitcoin over to my stablecoin. Then I take my stablecoin to the Binance Smart Chain, then move it over to Binance. And then Binance froze my withdrawal coins. So I had to verify my identity to get my coins withdrawal from there. When all I could do is just withdraw to my Bitcoin wallet, and then I could just send it through there. So when that happens, I'm going to be very, very happy because I don't want to use Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum network or anything like this crap anymore, and just stick to just Bitcoin itself.
Yeah.
Fast BTC bidirectional will be a big improvement. It is worth saying that, if you have an urgent need to swap out to Bitcoin, there is the liquidity wallet, which has RBTC to Bitcoin atomic swaps, so they're trustless. And then the RSK network itself has a native bridge back to Bitcoin called a PowPeg, which you can use to convert RBTC to Bitcoin. It takes 24 hours, but it works. I've used it. It's a little bit more technical than FastBTC, which is why I think FastBTC will be a nice improvement. But like I said, if you have an urgent need and you don't want to use BSC or Ethereum or convert to anything but Bitcoin, those are options.
Actually, I have a question about bridge liquidity. So numerous times over the last weeks, see that there's been limited liquidity on the BSC bridge. And I was sort of curious, so how is the liquidity for bridging being managed? Is anything automated, or is that a human process that sort of happens?
So every stablecoin which comes in over the bridge goes into the XUSD aggregator. This means that it doesn't matter if you are transferring USDC or USDT or DAI from ETH, or if you're transferring any stablecoin from Binance Smart Chain, they all will go into the aggregator and you will receive XUSD in return. So what this means is that also everyone who is possessing XUSD has access to the underlying tokens, and you can burn your XUSD for any of them. What's currently happening is that more liquidity is coming in from ETH than from Binance Smart Chain, but more liquidity is leaving via Binance Smart Chain than entered. Which is because people have liquidity at hand on ETH. It's easy to get it, it's easy to transfer it in, but it's just much cheaper to transfer it out to Binance Smart Chain because of the crazy gas fees on ETH. This means that the bridge has constantly a low balance of Binance Smart Chain stablecoins. Or it's not the bridge, it's rather the aggregator, which is out of these underlying tokens. And this will be addressed with a Babelfish update, which does then introduce a curve for trading the different underlying tokens against each other, which should then incentivize the different market participants to balance out the underlying tokens. So it's not so much an issue of the bridges and the bridge liquidity, but it's really a question of the aggregator.
And will this be happening before the code freeze or after the code freeze?
I think after, but I'm not sure because I'm not that involved in the Babelfish update plans.
Gotcha. Then I had a second question of Yago and John around what was the reason that the choice was made to not add Bitcoin-backed stablecoins to the Babelfish aggregator and to do mint? I don't think that was, I've seen that really super clearly explained anywhere.
They're being added to both, and the reason is they have it allows users to choose their risk profile. So users who want to purely use a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin can use Mint. Users who have less strict risk expectations or requirements can use XUSD. And XUSD benefits from having the Bitcoin-backed stablecoins as a form of collateral, and new tokens will be more easily exchangeable for any other stablecoin by being part of the XUSD Babelfish aggregator.
So Zero would be, in this case, then, part of the Babelfish aggregator as well?
Zero is part of New, and New will be, so basically the token minted by Mint will also be part of XUSD.
And New will be part of XUSD as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty complicated tree. I think it would be really nice to see a graphic about that, because I see a lot of I've been confused about it and seen other people in the channels confused about that.
Good idea. Thanks.
I want to ask one question. Why we need two different coins like New and Zero? Why not just go with one and
Zero and New are two totally different coins. New is the stable coin. Zero is the governance token of the Zero protocol. So one of them is...
I was saying ZUSD and New. Sorry.
ZUSD is part of the aggregate. Many tokens will be part of creating the new token. For example, DOC, ZUSD, and there are also some others planned. But most users will only ever need to use New and probably won't know about ZUSD. It's
okay,
mostly...
So New consists of multiple coins, or ZUSD consists of multiple BTC backed coins?
No, New, or the Mint, basically mints New by aggregating all of these different Bitcoin-backed stablecoin, what we call aggregates. And the reason we call them aggregates is because they, in and of themselves, are not really coins. They're rather pieces of the aggregate New token. And so I think the way to think about it is, the different banks issue dollars, right? Like every single American bank issues dollars, but they all are basically wrapped up as the US dollar. You don't know that what you're using is a Bank of America dollar or a JP Morgan dollar or a Wells Fargo dollar, even though in practice that's what you are doing. So Mint does the same thing. It wraps together all of the different methods of creating Bitcoin-backed stability into one single token.
So can I make a request, Yago? So the first time that I had contact with you from the early Bitcoin days before Sovryn started was around Cement DAO, and Cement DAO was essentially a protocol for stable coins. And you're probably one of the most forefront people, thinking about this and designing in the space. There's a tendency, it seems now, for people to be calling us a shitcoin casino because of these different tokens and not really having an understanding of how it is that they interlock and intersect with each other. And you've been, very present recently in public, doing a great job explaining to people the benefits of the individual projects. the individual products. It would be really great, I think, to have a simplified overall Iago view of what it is that you're explaining for people in a written blog post form, maybe, and in a visualized form from the creative team. I think it would go a long way to reducing a lot of the confusion and dissatisfaction that we see across the community with these different governance tokens and actually financial instruments. Yeah, that's one of the things that you do really well. And I think that it would be a great...
I could try and explain it better. I think in the SIP, I created an illustration of how it is, but I think we can do a better job of communicating it more broadly. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit, but I would probably read the SIP probably like 10 times just to like fully understand it. It's like it's kind of out of the world kind of thing for me. So I understand now, but it really took me a while to I'm not like completely stupid. So yeah, I think what he's saying, it makes a lot of sense.
Can I ask, how would you explain it now that you've got your head around it?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Sorry about that.
You didn't know it was going to be a spot quiz.
yeah, I didn't know that. I'm out of here now. So the zero protocol basically governs the aggregate. And then you have the ZUSD, which is the stable coin, which is the sovereign stable coin that is backed Bitcoin and pegged by the dollar. And the OG token is for the Origin protocol. I believe Origin is kind of like umbrella for the whole system. And then Mint is like a whole other system altogether. It's kind of like I could have it as like an umbrella for other protocols and other tokens underneath it. And they're aggregating and they're governing those so that way it's more decentralized and secure. To have that kind of correct?
Yeah, man, it sounded about right to me.
Yeah, I would say there's a slight difference in what you said, which is so right now there are three like sub protocols that are being planned. Zero, Mint, and Origins. These are all sub protocols of Sovryn. And what it means to be a sub protocol is that the native token of these sub protocols is backed by SOV using a bonding curve. So the native token of Zero, which is the Zero token, is backed by SOV. The native token of Mint, which is called Mint, is also backed by SOV. And the native token of Origins, which is OG, is backed by SOV. Zero is a stablecoin protocol. The stablecoin is generated using 0% interest loans. And then that stablecoin, ZUSD, can be aggregated into a stablecoin that is created using the Sovryn Mint protocol. And that stablecoin is called NU. So NU will include ZUSD as the first stablecoin, but then it, as Iago mentioned, it could also include money on chain's DOC stablecoin, which is also backed by Bitcoin, and it could include other Bitcoin-backed stablecoins in the future as well. And then Origins is basically the launchpad protocol for which is going to be used to launch other projects on RSK, including future sovereign sub-protocols, if any other sub-protocols are created, and external projects. And so the OG holders will be responsible for governing the launchpad and deciding which projects get included there. That's kind of how all the different projects relate to each other.
John, when you're saying
you're very close.
So, John, when you're saying that the sub-protocol tokens are all backed by the bonding curve, is that the defining factor of a sub-protocol? is that it's backed by SOV? That the
Yeah.
only thing that makes it a sub-protocol?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would say it's that plus the fact that sub-protocols participate or will participate. So this hasn't been implemented yet, but will participate in a bi-directional form of governance with the rest of the sovereign protocols. So they will act as delegates. So these protocols will effectively kind of be like DAOs that delegate and people participate through them in the SOV Bitocracy. And then the SOV Bitocracy has certain veto rights over what the sub-protocols can do.
If I could just add something in here quickly. The GIMP actually had started work on a very useful flowchart, which actually connects all of these pieces. It was a work in progress, and admittingly, it came from a place where we were having some internal conversation where, it was to get a clearer understanding of the connectivity and so forth. Much of the questions that have been raised in the community, how all the pieces fit together, why there are all these different things and how they work together. I think it would be great if the GIMP, Yago, Zoo, and Light were to get together and perhaps turn that flowchart into an animated video explainer that actually just flows right through all the pieces. It is truly very useful. It is a work in progress, but I can tell you that it's very helpful in getting a nice overview of how all this stuff fits together.
Just to let you know, Scotty, we actually are kind of working on that at the moment. It's going to take a while to get done, but that is actually in the pipeline because obviously a picture says 1,000 words, a video tells you 1,000,000.
Right, exactly, and just through these, the verbal explanations of it, you can see how people, how it's easily confused or you get lost because it's a long-winded sort of explanation. So I think that would be great. I'm glad to hear that that's in the works. Super helpful, even just in graphical form. It just helps so much. So for the rest of the people here, on the call through the community, I can tell you that once that comes along, I think the picture will be much clearer as to how all the pieces fit together.
And with that, I'm going to close this out. Everyone, you can still hang and hang out. Thanks for joining the call and being a part of our mission to carve out a trail for Bitcoin secured financial sovereignty, dismantling what people know and understand about money. So help us spread the word and create more sovereign individuals. Follow us on Twitter, Telegram, subscribe to our YouTube, where you'll see the recording to this. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, and stay sovereign.
Stay sovereign.
Thank you. Bye-bye.